will take the effects off just to be... I don't want to, though. And it's a very focused vintage sound. That's an amazing chord. Let me show you that.
I love that chord.
You can leave this here if you want. Welcome to Tim and Pete's Guitar Show.
It's Tim and Pete's Guitar Show, that's right. So why are we doing this?
We're doing this because we want to have fun.
Was that like a conscious decision that you made to sort of stick to the studio? At some point, did you say to yourself, okay, the touring thing's great, but I'm going to go this way?
Yeah, I made a specific decision at kind of a young age, in the mid-'90s, to turn down touring. And I got offered some pretty big tours after that, and I would turn them down. And it was tough because touring is fun and the money's usually really great. That's why I did it. I stayed here so that I could not lose those great, because the great gigs would pop up randomly and
right.
You know.
You wanted to be in LA where they make the records. Well, yeah, it's funny because I kind of went the other way, I guess. Like I started touring almost 20 years ago, I guess. And
some really great artists.
I've been fortunate to play with some
great rock artists.
Some really
Chris Cornell, right?
Yeah, I toured with Chris for a long time.
Yeah.
And
who else?
Melissa Etheridge for a long time.
Oh yeah, I remember that. I remember you did that. Yeah.
Yeah, and
major guitar gigs.
Yeah. They've been great. You know?
Yeah.
Spent the last couple of years sort of touring with international artists. Mylène Farmer, who's a French pop artist, and Tsuyoshi Nagabuchi, who's a legendary rock icon. But yeah, I kind of consciously became, I guess, a touring guy and didn't stay in town. And it is a funny thing. You can go away for 6 months or a year and tour, and you come back and your phone's not ringing. You're like, why is my phone not ringing? And it's because everybody thinks you're away all the time.
Yeah, but then you did something amazing. You became the premier gear demonstrator on YouTube, and we all rely on you. We all rely on you.
Well, yeah, but
all
you have an incredible YouTube channel as well, which is why we're kind of new friends. We met each other just really recently, and just talk guitar, talk gear, talk about career, talk about everything pertaining to this crazy piece of wood with 6 strings on it that has become the dominant guiding force in our lives, I think.
Yeah, and let's make it more dominant. So we're going to upload this video to both of our channels, but in the future, I think we're just going to alternate.
Time for cool gear. This is where we talk about the coolest gear that we've seen.
We got a few pieces in here that are cool, I think.
We do, and decidedly totally different ends of the spectrum.
That's right. Very complex, very simple, very new, very old.
You're going to talk about a movie projector.
I am.
And I'm going to talk about the Line 6 Helix, which is totally...
Yeah.
We've got modern and super old school hipster.
So, good.
It's going to be good. One of the coolest things about it seems to be ease of use. So it's like super, super easy because of all these touch switches to kind of... let me see if I can go into this world here. So... this is the amp model right here. If I wanted to assign that to a foot switch, because it's highlighted right there, I simply tap and hold this foot switch and then go OK, and now it's going to pop up down there, and now I could toggle on and off that amp model. So it's like that easy to kind of program. It's kind of crazy. Very simple to assign, I want this stomp box here, I want that thing there. So here's the thing about this thing that's kind of interesting, I think, and different than any other unit that I've ever come across. It's a modeler, but it's designed to be used however you want to use it as a guitar. So you can integrate it with your amp very easily and other stomp boxes. So, for instance, it's got 4 effects loops built in here. So if you've got favorite pedals that you want to use with this thing, you can do that by simply patching them in. Because they've designed it to be sort of easily integratable with an amplifier, you could use it, just plug your guitar into it and come out of the thing right into an amplifier. You could also use it in what's called 4-cable method, where if you've got an amp with an effects loop, you can run into this thing, then come out of this into your amplifier, run some effects in front of the amp, say virtual stomp boxes, or if you've got effects patched in here like overdrives and stuff, you could run those in front of your amp. So then, come out of this thing into your amp, into the front end, then effects send to your amp back into this. And run some stuff in the effects loop of your amp, like delay and reverb and things like that are best in a loop.
Okay,
and
so
come
just
back out into your amp.
Yeah, that's great. I could you say all that again?
I can. say you want to use it with a guitar amplifier, 4-cable method. So you make a bunch of sounds where you're using, this thing with your guitar amp, and by the way, it'll channel switch your amp and do all that kind of stuff too, because it's got relay switches in it. So you could plug it in and come up with a bank of, say, 10 sounds where it's like, these are your core tones, where it's channel switching your amp, you're running some pedals in the loops, switching those in and out, using some delays and reverbs in the effects loop of your amp, and you're running it with an amplifier and a speaker cabinet. Now that's your main rig for like going to gigs and stuff, let's say. But now let's say you do maybe like a casino gig or a church gig or something like that where they don't want you to bring a speaker cabinet. Well, because this thing is actually an impulse response host, which means it hosts speaker simulators, you can put your own speaker simulation into it. You could maybe take this thing to the same, using all the same presets and stuff, but just insert a cab sim on them and maybe use it with your amplifier with a load box to load down your amp, run into this thing. Now you've got like the same banks of sound or whatever, but your presets, but you're using it with no cabinet.
Hey Pete, can I try it?
Absolutely. Okay. I want to hear you play it.
The thing I like is it kind of cleans up when you pick softly.
Yeah.
It really is, the key to having a natural sound. And then when you hit it hard, it kind of does the exact thing that an amp does.
Yeah, nice bit of squish.
Yet it cleans up really nicely. You can leave this here if you want. That's really useful, like for a lead too. A little tube screamer in front of it, right?
So what this sound I'm going to play right here is it's an AC30 amp model in this thing, and I've got an Ownhammer AC30 style cabinet, impulse response loaded.
Cool.
So.
Love it.
So if you want to add some effects and stuff like that, I got a bunch of stuff dialed up. Like this is was supposed to be like a Dynacon.
Without, and I turn on the red squeeze. Nice squish. Okay, what's next? What else you got?
So there's a chorus and a delay. Those three on the bottom row.
And it's in stereo. We have it patched in stereo.
This is fun. I get to sit here and listen to him play. How wonderful!
Yeah, because that's an amazing chord. Let me show you that.
I love that chord.
Okay.
I use that one a lot.
Okay. What's Elephant Man?
This looks like a memory man, like a deluxe memory man.
That sounds really good. I'm gonna hit mod chorus echo.
I don't know what that sounds like.
The modulations seem really rich and satisfying. It's great. Love it. Where did you get that one?
I bought this at Groon's in Nashville in 2007. It's a late 64. It was like November 64. So it's kind of interesting because it's got that weird transitional kind of place where they put the logo on some of them that looks kind of bizarre. But it's like up the headstock.
It is. I don't see that very often.
Yeah, you see it on like some Mustangs and stuff.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Yeah, but and then it's also got the pearl dots, so it doesn't have clay dots, but it's totally like early 64 or 63 as far as the sunburst goes and the green garden, all that stuff goes. It's a weird kind of transitional.
Yeah, I love it. I mean,
Thanks.
It's beautiful. This thing is completely beat, and that's why I could afford it. It was
That's
one
what-
of John's
look
early
at these
purchases.
guitars.
Yeah, there you go. And the neck had been broken, and it has a refret that is not the best refret. I mean, it plays well.
plays great, right?
Yeah, exactly. And it sounds really, really good. So
It looks
lucky to have it. Yeah, it's very, very distressed.
Is it 69? Is that what that
68, I think.
68. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
Yeah, 68, 69. So.
Yeah, that thing's awesome. All right, so this thing.
Different
what the
world.
heck is this thing?
This, I did a record with Neil Diamond last year, and Blake Mills was the other guitar player on some of it, and he's an amazing guitar player. And I walked in, and voila, that was his rig, and I was just blown away. And of course, it sounded amazing. Of course, his hands sound amazing with any piece of gear, but I immediately got the contact number for Austin Hooks, who takes these projectors and adapts them.
It's literally an old movie projector.
It's an old movie projector. It's Filmo Sound. I'm not sure what year it's from. You could tell you that, Bell and Howell, Filmo Sound. And it's Austin Hooks, Hooks. He's in Las Vegas or Atwater. I forget where I went. I went to his garage. And it's a very meticulous garage with a lot of spare parts. And the funny thing was, I asked him how many of these he had made, and it was a really high number. I expected him to say 15 or 20, and it was more like 60 or 80. I forget the number. So he makes a lot of them. So a lot of people are using them. Yeah.
I mean, it's like the coolest looking thing ever, and
that it is. I mean, what he does, he takes this is the projector's lens, and it's actually the pilot light. So it's very cool what he does. He really is. And it's a very focused vintage sound. I mean, I have a couple of effects on it because I like to have some wetness, you know. It's really, really present, in your face, focused. Transient that's really appealing, you know, a little.
Yeah, well, it does a little collapse and then picks up. And just that nice compression on the front end of the note. Really cool. Old transformer kind of squishing and clamping down. I will take the effects off just to be. I don't want to though. And you were saying earlier, everything sounds better louder, right?
It sure does. Okay, I took the delay off at least. Very natural sounding thing.
It's not worlds apart from like a Tweed Fender kind of thing or something, right?
Blake actually said to me, he said, you know, it's very much like a deluxe.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
Just a little, you know, it was nice of him to say that, so he kind of prepared my expectations for when I bought it. But it's got this switch, it really cranks up the gain.
Oh wow!
So you can really make it fuzz out. Cranked up. I'll put my micro amp in front of it. It takes pedals well.
I gotta try this.
Yeah, you gotta do it.
Wow, literally in the hot seat right now, so I better play something good. How do you do the gainy thing again?
Okay, it's a switch right here, and it's probably called something else, but I never remember anything. So. 3 stages of extra gains. Good. And this is kind of the tone knob right here, so it brightens up right there with the light. Of the notes, and there's a sweet spot right around 6 right here where the note clarity is just fantastic. I just brightened it up. No treble, no bass, just one tone.